5:05, we want to call this meeting to order. The clerk is going to introduce a young lady from the 4-H to do our pledge of allegiance. So after she does that, we will all stand for the invocation by Jamie Loach, and then she will do the pledge. The 4-H lady will do the pledge. Thank you.
Okay, so following the invocation, we'll have Ms. Lizzie Lewis, who is a 9th grade 4-H member that attends South Effingham High School. She serves as the chair of the Public Relations and Information on the 4-H leadership team. Lizzie is an active 4-H member who stays involved in 4-H programs on the county and district level. Lizzie is also a Georgia 4-H certified team leader. Thank you.
Hey. And we stand for the invocation and the pledge.
Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, please be with the families that were affected in the fatal car accident this past weekend near Hawkinsville, the Sapp and Ricker families. Please be with everyone that was affected by that. Please help us to do your will this evening, Lord, and please be with our world leaders. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next thing on our agenda is the agenda approval. I have two things to come off of it. One of them is table number 1. New business number 1 will be tabled to the next meeting. And new business number 5, we're going to take it off the agenda completely. Do you have anything else?
Table number 1. I think I'm moving forward with new business number 1, the appointment. We're moving forward with that.
Okay, all right. I'm correct again. We'll do that.
And if I can add some additional changes to the agenda. In addition to the removal of new business number 5, we also have a request to remove old business number 1 and number 2.
Old business number 1 and 2.
Yes, sir.
Remove it.
Yes, sir. Under planning board items, I'd like to make mention that we will be tabling. We have received a request from the applicant to table planning board items number 5 and 6. That is for Current Coal Company for the rezoning of 48 acres. This property is located on Highway 17 and Golden Road.
All right, with all those, I'll consider the resolution to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the noted changes.
Second. Anybody got other questions? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Like mine. Moving on. Minutes. Consideration to approve the minutes of the September 4, 2018 regular commissioners meeting. I entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve as presented.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. Next thing is public comments. If we will, we want you to please agenda items only. Next thing is correspondence. Documents from the meeting are located in the clerk's office and on the Board of Commissioners website. Next thing on our agenda is the consent agenda. We have 1, consideration to approve to review the agreement with eGPS Solutions for a eGPS base station.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise.
Commissioner Walker, before we go any further, if we can, for the record, note that Chairman Corbett and the appointment, Mr. Burdette, Roger Burdette, are not present for this meeting.
Okay, thank you. All right, old business, we have removed number 1 and number 2. So we move on down to number 3. The planning board recommends approving an application by Beltline Energy LLC for a conditional use to allow the construction and operation. Well, this is, you didn't want to take that off, or you want to go through with this part of it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, the planning board recommends approving an application by Beltline Energy LLC for a conditional use to allow for the construction and operation of a solar power fountain facility located on Springfield Egypt Road, map number 365, parcel number 27, in the 3rd district. And this is a public hearing.
Commissioners, this request was last before you on August 21st. At that meeting, we heard discussion and public comment regarding the request for the solar farm facility. There was a recommendation from the planning board for approval, where they heard this at their meeting on July 23rd. They did apply some stipulations with their recommendation that this operation comply with section 5.1.29 for solar farms, and also a condition regarding vegetative buffers. Now, at the August 21st meeting, there was continued discussion about the vegetative buffers, and therefore it was tabled to this meeting so that those concerns could be further addressed.
All righty, this is a public hearing. Anybody want to speak for this recommendation?
I'm Ryan Sanders of Beltline Energy. Thank you for consideration tonight. As described, Ms. Clemens, we were before the County Commission in August, and it was tabled to address some concerns from the local community regarding the vegetative buffer. We had a follow-up meeting, and I'll just step back and say I think that all parties have put a lot of effort into getting this right, and Commissioner Deloach has made himself available on numerous occasions, countless times on the phone, numerous emails. So there's been an enormous amount of discussion and contemplation of this solution. We have 3 primary community members that are in opposition to this project. They loosely fall under the 3 main reasons for opposition we encounter as we permit these projects. We have one member that's basically just kind of not in my backyard kind of position. We have another member of the community that can see this from their front porch, or could see this from the front porch if we did not construct a vegetative buffer. So we've taken steps to address that concern. And then we have another member of the community that is looking at this as maybe conflicting with their own personal future development plans for their adjoining pieces of property. We've taken some pretty considerable measures to address these concerns, and we've now agreed to a 50-foot setback on the east and west side, which is an increase that's double what the solar ordinance requires in the county. We have further setback from the street, and we've agreed to a 60-foot setback on the front side, on the frontage to the road. And we've agreed to a double vegetative buffer comprised of Leland cypress on the interior row and Elaeagnus ebenji on the exterior row. And then we're going to further augment the vegetative buffer with 2 thuja plants, excuse me, it's it's kind of a mouthful, on the northwest and northeastern corner. This arrangement came at the end of a meeting we had with the local community hosted by Commissioner Deloach. Even when we all got together in the same room, we had our engineers go back and redesign it. There was still some cross wires and some disconnect between the community and the project. However, it was much less than it was originally. We full disclosure, we got a little bit lucky. If you'll notice down here in this drawing, there is a railroad line that runs on the southern side. And the concern for us there is some existing trees or forest, scrub brush in the easement land that's not controlled by the landowner Allen Woodrum or Allen Height that we're leasing from. And so that would mean that we would not be able to control that vegetation. As it turns out, we've had recent success working with the railroad line to trim trees that are in an easement way in a similar situation as this. And we were able to reach out and confirm that we thought we would be able to prune these trees, which allows us to accommodate the additional request on the setbacks, and it also allows us to configure our system in a way that we can accommodate that 60-foot setback on the front side. So to the extent that so now we are setting forth, and we've talked to Commissioner DeLoach, the 50-foot setback on the east and west. We're going to remain with the 25 setback on the southern side and a 60-foot setback on the front side. And so
Would that be 60 or 65 all day?
it's 60 foot on the front side.
60.
Yes, sir. So it's 60 and 50, 50, and then 25. And we revised our engineering. We've determined that that is livable for the project. We think that, it accommodates a double vegetative buffer, 2 different varietals, so that it has aesthetic virtue as well as screening virtue. And then we have 2 ornamental plants on the corners to further augment the aesthetics of the vegetative buffer. So we're getting the utilitarian, high quality nature of the buffer along with a aesthetic concern or a physically attractive buffer. And this aligns with the needs of the project, the needs of the landowner. So we think we've addressed all the concerns that were outstanding. And just want to say that we appreciate the opportunity to engage with the community. We appreciate the opportunity to engage with the commission, and we feel like this is a win-win for all parties. And so with that, we thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else who wants to speak for this? Do we have anyone who would like to speak against it? Please state your name for the record.
Glenda Newkirk, and I'm speaking for my sisters and I, who are property owners across the road. It was never our intention of trying to prevent this project from being built at this location. We were motivated to voice our concern after riding by the infamous power generating plant on the Stillwell-Plow Road on our way to our own place. Because of that site, we are aware of the potential undesired appearances on the home and properties in the community of this plant or a plant. We do have questions regarding the entrance of this station. I know it's been relocated, but we are not sure how it is to be treated. Will it be with the gate, plants, or what will be the outcome or the treatment for this? We could not tell from the drawing that was submitted yesterday. We do continue to have concerns with the effect of this power generating station on the value of the nearby homes and property. As I stated at a previous meeting, studies have been shown that an industrial site, which this power generating station is, can have an effect on the property values in the residential communities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian Sanders with Belton Energy. I should have addressed this on the front side. We did relocate our entrance to the side, and in the revised drawing that we submitted.
We can't hardly hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. The revised drawing that we submitted has the main service entrance over here on the northeastern corner, and it will shield the entranceway because you'll be coming down on the side and then turning in, such that if you're looking at it straight on, you won't have the line of sight, and if you're coming down the road, you won't have the line of sight. As far as the nature of the gate itself, we submitted a design specification document with our original submission that describes exactly the construction specifications of this gate. And our typical is a galvanized chain link 6-foot fence, similar to what the utilities use for electrical substations. The entranceway will be locked, what's called a Knox lockbox, that gives universal entrance to the fire department, the police department, the utility company, and also the private company that's maintaining it, our landscape management company. So we think by relocating this main service entrance to this, what is that, the eastern side, that is going to prevent a situation where if you're looking head on at the project, you can see through the gap in the trees into the solar array. So we've relocated to the side so you won't be in line of sight.
Could you explain this to the lady that stopped a few minutes ago and get with her and let her know about this?
We discussed it at our meeting when we met with Commissioner Deloach, and I'm happy to point out on the revised drawing where the main service entrance is.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Anybody got it? Anybody else want to speak for it or against it? Not? Any commissioners need any more information?
I think they've gone well and beyond to try to satisfy the citizens.
Commissioner Loper, I want to verify that what's in your packet and what we have, we've got a revised plan, make sure that we have what he was just referring to, that's the most current.
Okay.
So, sir. Ryan,
Yes, sir.
what's the date on that revised?
This was revised, I distributed it to the commissioner on Monday.
When you say the commissioner,
Commissioner Deloach.
okay.
And I can distribute one to the.
I think we need one for the record.
So we initially were working on a 25-foot assumption on the east and west setbacks. When I submitted this to Commissioner Deloach, she submitted it to the community. There was some response that we wanted more on the sides, and so I'm going to provide a revised version 7, but we have this.
My motion will reflect 50 feet on the east and west side.
Just, if you've already seen it, that's fine.
You're going to count this down in your motion.
And we'll make it part of the record too, Ryan.
Did you receive a copy?
No.
All right, we'll get a revised copy for the record.
All right, I entertain a motion to approve or disapprove.
I make a motion to approve the solar farm on Springfield Egypt Road with the following conditions and stipulations. Number 1, there will be a minimum vegetative buffer of 25 feet within the 60-foot setback on the north side, which is the Springfield Egypt Road side. A 25-foot vegetative buffer within the 50-foot setback on the east side, and a 25-foot vegetative buffer inside the 50-foot setback on the west side of the solar farm. Within the vegetative buffer, there will be Leland cypress trees planted on the interior road and Iliagnus effigy planted on the exterior road, and they will be planted in a staggered manner to provide a faster wall to prevent the solar panels from being visible from surrounding property owners. On the east and west side of the solar panels, the plants will be planted all the way to the southern property line. On the northeast and northwest point of the vegetative buffer, there will be a thuja giant tree planted. Number 2, if at any time the planted trees or shrubs become damaged due to any circumstances or there is not a solid vegetative wall blocking the view of the solar farm, the owner of the solar panels, which is currently Beltline Energy LLC, and whomever the current owner is, if the ownership changes in the future, will be responsible for replacing the trees or shrubs, so to ensure there will always be a vegetative wall blocking the view to the surrounding property owners. Number 3, Planting a vegetative buffer can be done during peak growing seasons such as early spring or fall. Number 4, between the vegetative buffer and the setback will be a natural buffer, and this piece of the setback will be allowed to grow up naturally. Number 5, present the updated drawing to reflect what I just said, presented with the site plan when that is time for that. And that concludes my motion.
Here a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise? That's all your record. All right, we're moving on. Item number 4, consideration to approve the second reading of the application by Beltline Energy LLC for a conditional use to allow the construction and operation of a solar power facility located on Springfield Egypt Road, map number 365, parcel number 27 in the 3rd district. Entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the second reading.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. Moving on to new business. We got 5, we're going to take one off, so we got item number 1. Consideration to approve to appoint Roger Burdett to fulfill the unexpired term of office for the 2nd District Commission seat to be effective August the 22nd, 2018. Oath of office to follow. They approved to appoint Judge Mosley at some point in time. So he is not here today, but we're going to go ahead and make a motion to approve. I entertain a motion.
I make a motion to appoint Roger Burdett to fulfill the unexpired term of office for the 2nd District seat of Board of Commissioners, effective August 22nd, 2018.
Got a motion? Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed likewise. Moving on.
Just for the record, just so everyone knows, Mr. Burdett's not here. His mother passed away out of town, so that's why he's out of town.
New business number 2 is a quote. Consideration to approve to accept a quote from Apex Insurance Agents for catastrophic inmate medical insurance for the Effingham County Jail. Fiona.
Good evening, Fiona Charlton, Purchasing Agent. The county carries catastrophic inmate medical insurance to cover loss on jail inmates who are not under state custody. A renewal quote was received from the Apex Insurance Agency with 2 options as listed on your staff report. There is an increase to the premium for this renewal, which is due to a 5% increase to the per inmate per month rate for 2018-19, as well as an increase in the average inmate population from 173 to 190. This is only the 2nd rate increase since 2010. The rate has either dropped or been held. The plan coverage runs October 1st, 2018 to September 30th, 2019. The quote from Apex has been reviewed and approved by the County Attorney. Therefore, staff recommends alternative number 1. Any questions?
I don't have any questions from the board. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve alternative number 1.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. Moving on, new business number 3. Consideration to approve a proposal with Vertiv Services for UPS battery replacement services. Fiona, you're up again.
The county's multi-agency call centre has a Liebert 2-bank N-Power UPS unit, which works in conjunction with emergency generators to provide power during service for utility outages, keeping emergency communication equipment running until the generators can crank and reach full voltage output. Currently, only 1 bank is operating with no backup capability, as the 2nd bank is empty. This proposal is for 40 batteries to fill the 2nd bank at the cost of $11,087.40. The proposal has been reviewed and approved by the County Attorney. Any questions?
Anyone have any questions? No, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve alternative 1.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Likewise, the same.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Next thing on new business, I should have called it. Number 4, public hearing. This is a public hearing, a resolution. Consideration to approve a resolution to transmit the fiscal year 2018 capital improvement element to the Georgia Department of Community Affairs. Amanda?
Commissioners, this update is required by the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, and it's required of any jurisdiction that collects or expends impact fees. So to remain compliant with those state requirements, we are requesting that this be approved so that we can transmit this annual report to them for their review. This is an update to the report that was provided to them last year and is reflective of the county's most recently adopted impact fee study, which was passed by the Board of Commissioners on July 15, 2014.
All right, you got it. This is a public hearing. Does anyone like to speak on this? Any questions or discussion with the commissioners? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion we approve, that we approve this resolution, transmit.
Second. Got a motion second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. Number 5, new business has been taken off the agenda. Next on the agenda is report from administrative staff and commissioners. You want to go ahead with it?
Commissioner Logan, we have a few department heads that have some guests that they'd like to introduce, and I think we probably can start with that. So, Ms. Charlton, you want to introduce your guest?
Sorry. We're in discussion over here. We need to back up. On your belt line item, because you changed stipulations from what was previously presented by staff and planning
The
board.
second reading next week.
Second reading has to be at the next meeting. So the second reading for belt line will be October 2nd.
Just take that off, it'll be the next meeting.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
We can get a motion to table the second reading for belt line.
I'll make a motion to table the second reading for Beltline Energy LLC until our next meeting.
Second. We got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed likewise. Carried.
Do I have to read that motion again, or?
All you want to. All right,
Fiona has got her sister here with her that has flown over from England, and she's a little shy, didn't want to introduce herself, but I thought that would be nice that we welcome her here and in the States, and hope she has a good visit. Director Morgan, you want to come up and introduce your guest?
I am proud to introduce Cameron Chastain and Chase Barham, who are my new assistant directors. So we welcome Cameron is from Chatham County and Chase is from Spartanburg, South Carolina, original Tennessee fan, but we're going to convert him over to Georgia. And remind you that South Effingham is playing the first high school softball game at Ready Stadium starting at 6 o'clock at night.
we want to welcome you gentlemen to Effingham County. Appreciate your service. And also Fiona's sister, we appreciate you coming and being at our meeting today.
Thank you
I
very
hope you
much.
enjoy yourself with you in the state of Georgia and Effingham County.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
I
very
get
much.
to be here this year.
I know Fiona's going to take good care of you. Whatever, you have anything else?
No, sir.
I'm sorry, I have nothing else.
Any other staff members? You do, okay.
Pass them on.
Pass it around. You got a bunch of stuff here. Need one more? And 4, I know you have
financial audit status report that was presented by the interim finance director. She's just wanting to give you all an update on the audit beginning of 9/4/2018. Those details are in your report.
Okay.
Your animal control monthly report is also there. It's for the month of August. Your EOM monthly report for the month of August is also included. Parent University submitted a newsletter stating that they will be holding their fall session on Saturday, September 22nd at the middle school. Registration begins at 8 a.m. and the general session begins at 9. They will be providing a continental breakfast during this time as well. Details on the annual golfing outing that is hosted by the IDA will be held on Friday, October 19th, with lunch and registration at 11 and shotgun start at noon. They are asking if you're interested to please RSVP prior to October 12th. And lastly, we need to consider canceling or changing the date for our November 20th meeting. That is the same week of Thanksgiving. So I'd like to put on our next agenda with your permission, consideration to cancel or change that meeting. Are you good with that?
That's the second meeting.
That's the second meeting in November. Yes, sir. That meeting would be Tuesday, Thanksgiving would be that following Thursday.
You're just going to get it on the agenda and we'll
Yes.
discuss it.
Yes, sir. And that's all I have.
Anyone else have one? Anything to say? All right, Chief, you want to say anything about our storm or satisfied with all that?
We were satisfied, we definitely dodged the bullet.
Okay, thank you. Any commissioners have anything to bring up?
Just want to say I got some compliments on the railroad crossing on Shoney Road. So that design that did what we needed it to do, and the folks that are going across with low boys are so much safer now. So I appreciate that.
I think we have one more to do on the south end, but thank you. I'll let them know.
I'm good.
Yeah,
You good?
I'm good.
Everybody's good, huh? Anyway, do we have to have executive meeting today?
No, sir.
No executive meeting, well, we'll take about 10 to 15 minute break from time for the planning board. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
I don't really believe it's a deputy.
All right, it's 6 o'clock, we're gonna start the planning board hearing. Everybody here for the planning board, I'm gonna tell you one that's, that we're tabling today. Number 5, number 6, and 17 through 25. So if anybody's here for that, we're not going to hear them, they were tabled to the October 2nd meeting. And the reason we're tabling, we don't have enough commissioners to vote on it, okay. Sorry about that, if you're here for any of those. If you're here for any of the rest of them, y'all understand? 5, 6, and 7 through 18, but they will be heard October 2nd.
Just for clarification, 5 and 6 will be heard on October 16th. That's the request of the applicant.
5 and 6 be heard?
October 16th, the second meeting.
Okay.
17 through 25, due to lack of a quorum, will be tabled to October 2nd.
Okay.
And the reason there won't be a quorum, some of these items, a commissioner may have a conflict and have to step down, doesn't leave a quorum.
We don't have enough.
Just a clarification on that.
All right. Planning board, number 1. The planning board recommends approving an application by Robert L. Dasher, Senior, to rezone 1 acre out of 14.65 acres located at 759 Sand Hill Road from AR1 to AR2 map number 298, parcel number 15, being in the first district. Amanda?
So in reviewing this request, I did look at the county's comprehensive plan. I found this request to be compatible with that comprehensive plan, and therefore staff recommended approval. This recommendation of approval was also supported by the planning board at their meeting on August 27th, and they recommended approval as well, subject to the standard development conditions.
Thank you. Does anyone want to speak for this? Anyone want to speak against it? Any staff members want to speak on it? No, I call for a motion, and that is in the first district.
Make a motion we approve the staff planning board recommendation.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Planning board and staff recommendation. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed likewise. Unanimous. Moving on to the second reading. Consideration to approve the second reading of the application by Robert L. Dash Sr. to rezone 1 acre out of 1465 acres located at 759 Sand Hill Road from AR1 to AR2, map number 298, parcel number 15 in the first district.
Make a motion to approve the second reading.
So a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. No opposed. All right, moving on. Next one is public hearing. Number 3, the planning board recommends approving an application by Rochelle R. Brantley to rezone 1 acre out of 3.02 acres located at 179 Redmond Road from R4 to AR2, map number 352C, parcel number 10, also in the...
The current zoning of this property is R4, which supports mobile home parks. The area that the applicant is requesting to rezone is a portion of this property which is currently vacant and not being occupied by any mobile homes. They are requesting to rezone to the AR2 zoning district so that this vacant portion of land can be combined with the existing agriculture, single-family residential properties there. In doing this review, the request is compatible with the county's comprehensive plan. Staff did make a recommendation to approve, and the planning board at their August 27th meeting also made a recommendation to approve this request subject to those standard development conditions.
All right, anyone would like to speak in favor of this rezoning? Anybody would like to speak against it? Any comments from the commissioners? No, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion we approve the staff and planning board recommendations.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. Unanimous. All right, move on to the second reading. Consideration to approve the second reading of an application by Rochelle R. Brantley to rezone 1 acre out of 3.02 acres located at 179 Redmond Road from R4 to AR2, map number 352C, parcel 10 in the first district. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion we approve the second reading.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. Unanimous. All right. Moving right along. Number 5, public hearing. The planning board recommends denying an application. I'm sorry. This has been the next two have been tabled to October the 16th. The next one is number 7, public hearing. The planning board recommends approving an application by Boomer Homes Incorporated for a variance to reduce the front building setback line from 35 feet to 18.5, zone R1 located at 154 Greystone Drive, map 395A, parcel number 8 in the second district.
So this request should be evaluated under Appendix C, Article 7, Section 7.1.8, which governs to the issuance of variances. During staff review of this, we did find that there were no physical conditions of the lot or property itself which would prevent this property from being developed in conformity with the setback requirements of the zoning ordinance, and therefore made a recommendation for denial. This was heard by the planning board at their meeting on August 27th, 2018, at which time they made a motion to approve the request.
Okay, so the staff has recommended approving it also?
Well, the staff's recommendation was denial. The planning board has recommended approval.
Okay. Anybody here would like to speak for this?
Yes, Mr.
You
Commissioner.
waiting on me?
No, sir, but we appreciate y'all being here today, and appreciate y'all's service, but I'm Warren Ratchford, and I am here to speak on Boomer Homes. I understand where the staff was coming from on this one, but this was a major fiasco for a lot of people. This home was properly permitted. The measurements were checked, and more than one person made the same error in how that measurement was made. But before it was determined, the house was completed and it was ready for a CO. We had a young family coming in who needed to get into the home, so Boomer Homes arranged to rent it to them for a period of time with a temporary CO. Really want to thank Steve Davis on what all he did, and also Mr. Jimmy Parr. They were trying to get it resolved. What we're asking today is that you allow this variance simply because the house is complete and on the property. It's not one where just the footers were in. This is fully done, and it's impossible to point fingers back and forth. But I think the thing that makes the biggest thing is it was something that the building department and the contractor both made errors on the measurements. So we're asking.
What could be done at this point in time other than tear the house down and start over?
And we hope that's not something the board would consider naturally, and the people living there.
We know where the error was and should not happen again.
No, sir. We're hoping that will never happen again, and I can assure you that Boomer Homes has taken this very seriously and has made arrangements to ensure that this does not happen like this again. But it was something, y'all are familiar with this subdivision, and it could have happened to anybody. It just happened to happen to the two people that were responsible for looking at it on the county side and on the contractor side. So for that reason, we're asking for y'all to allow this to stand, grant the variance so that the people can go ahead and purchase a home and not require that the house be torn down. Excuse me.
All righty. Anybody else want to speak for this? Anybody want to speak against it? We'll close comment period. How about commission? Have we got anything to say about it? We don't have a second district. We don't have anybody here from the second district. You want to do it? All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the planning board recommendations.
I'll second.
Got a first and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? None. It passed.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the second reading. Consideration to approve the second reading of an application by Boomer Homes Incorporated for a variance to reduce the front building setback line from 35 to 18.5 on R1 located at 154 Greystone Drive, map number 395, parcel 8 in the second district.
Make a motion to approve the second reading.
Second.
Got a motion second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. You got it.
We appreciate y'all's time and consideration. Thank you.
All right. All right, moving. Next one is number 9. The planning board recommends approval of the application by Bob Cook to rezone 2.30 acres located at 388 Share House Road from AR1 to AR2 map number 398A, and parcel number 37 in the second district. Anybody like to speak? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Staff's review of this request found that it did comply with the county's comprehensive plan. Therefore, staff did make a recommendation for approval. The planning board on August 27th at their regular meeting also made a motion to approve this request subject to the standard development conditions.
Would anybody like to speak in favor of this? Anybody want to speak against it? Anybody from the commissioners have anything to say about it? And have both of them been approved by the planning board and the staff? Somebody wants to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve with the planning board and staff recommendations.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. It passed. All right, number 10 is second reading. Consideration to approve the second reading of an application by Bob Cook to rezone 2.30 acres located at 388 Sheriff's Road from AR1 to AR2, map number 398A, and parcel number 37 in the second district. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the second reading.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. It passed. Moving on, number 11, public hearing. The planning board recommends denying an application by Nancy Stevens for a variance to allow for two campus as temporary dwellings located at 190 Pine Drive, map 451C, parcel number 65 in the second district.
Commissioners, this request for a variance is to allow for two campers to be temporarily occupied as a dwelling while the property owners are contemplating the placement of permanent structures on the lot. We did review this request as it pertains to the zoning ordinance, which expressly prohibits camping and recreational equipment from being occupied for living purposes. There are some exceptions within the ordinance that allow for these temporary dwellings whenever there is construction going on site due to damage that might have occurred to a permanent structure. But really doesn't offer any other opportunities under this ordinance for temporary dwellings. And looking at the variance criteria under the zoning ordinance, we did find that there were no physical conditions of the property itself, which would prevent it from being occupied in a manner in conformance with the zoning ordinance, and therefore staff made a recommendation to deny this request. The planning board heard this item on August 27th, 2018, and made a motion to also deny the request.
What is their timeline? I mean, did they give a timeline?
The timeline that was given isn't concrete. They felt like within a year, they might have an idea of what they would want to do, but we didn't have any expectation or timeline for when a building permit might be applied for to place any kind of permanent structure. And there's also some questions concerning what permanent structures they want to place on the site. Because of the zoning, their intention is to place two mobile home units out there, but we understand due to the lot size that the feasibility under the zoning ordinance may not even support the larger plans that they might wish to have for the property.
There was, I was at planning board, there was strong neighborhood opposition.
I was just thinking, I don't know, I guess if they provide a little more details. I know when people are constructing new homes, typically that's going to happen within 6 to 12 months. You know?
Usually we get 6, maybe 9.
There were
going to be hours.
several more questions and answers. And I'm going to ask from the,
Does anybody that want to speak for this? Anybody want to speak against it? All right, y'all go ahead and we discuss it now.
I'll make a motion to deny the request.
Got a motion to deny and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. It's been denied. Moving on, public hearing number 13. We're going to have to do a 12. 13, the planning board recommends approving an application by William B. White to rezone 1 acre out of 55 acres located at 1160 Harry Road from AR1 to AR2, map 236, parcel number 5B in the 3rd district.
In completing this review, you did find that this was compatible with the county's comprehensive plan, therefore staff did make a recommendation for approval. The planning board at their August 27th meeting also made a motion to approve this request, subject to those standard development conditions.
Anybody want to speak for this? Anybody like to speak against it? If not, commissioners still want to discuss it. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve with planning board and staff recommendations.
Got a motion, a second, with planning board recommendations and staff. You okay? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise? All right, moving on to 14, the second reading. Consideration to approve the second reading of an application by William B. White to rezone 1 acre out of 55 acres located at 1160 Harrington Road from AR1 to AR2, map 236, parcel number 55B in the 3rd district.
Make a motion to approve the second reading.
Second.
Got a motion, a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Moving on to number 15. Planning board recommends approving an application by Vicky Hodges to rezone 1 acre out of 7.65 acres located at 238 Effingham Road from AR1 to AR2, map number 271, parcel number 27 in the 3rd district.
The staff's recommendation for this was approval based on its compatibility with the county's comprehensive plan, and the planning board recommended approval at their August 27th meeting, subject to the standard development conditions.
Would anybody like to speak for this rezoning? Would anybody like to speak against it? If not, any discussion? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve with planning board and staff recommendations.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right, number 16, consideration to approve the second reading of application by Vicky Hodges, excuse me, to rezone 1 acre out of 7.65 acres located at 238 Effingham Road from AR1 to AR2, map number 271, parcel number 27A, also in the 3rd district. I'll entertain a motion and a second.
I make a motion to approve the second reading.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Against likewise. It passed, and I think that concludes. Somebody else, huh?
We have to take a motion on those items that were.
Individually, we need to table them.
Well, at advisement of the attorney, we are going to read them all off and do one motion for 17 through 25. So if you'd like, Mr. Loper, I could read through each one of them.
Yeah, you gonna read all of them?
Yes.
Okay, we have to make a motion to,
To table them until October 2nd.
okay, go ahead and read it.
Planning board recommends approving an application by Keith Johnson to rezone 47.37 acres located at 1635 Stillwell Road from AR1 to AR2, map number 427, parcel 14 in the 3rd district. Item number 18 is consideration to approve the second reading of the application by Keith Johnson to rezone 47.37 acres located at 1635 Stillwell Road from AR1 to AR2, map number 427, parcel 14 in the 4th district. Public hearing number 19 is the planning board recommends approving an application by William B. Hall for a rural business use to allow for the brewing of beer for restaurants located at 215 Kiefer Road, map number 442, parcel number 2021 in the 4th district. Planning board item number 20, consideration to approve the second reading of an application by William B. Hall for a rural business use to allow for the brewing of beer for restaurants located at 215 Kiefer Road, map number 442, parcel 21 in the 4th district. Public hearing number 21. The planning board recommends approving an application by Joe Edge to rezone 52.487 acres located on Ebenezer Road from AR1 to R6, map number 445, parcel number 26 in the 4th district. Planning board item number 22, consideration to approve the second reading of an application by Joe Edge to rezone 52.487 acres located on Ebenezer Road from AR1 to R6, lot number 445, parcel number 26 in the 4th district. Public hearing number 23 is a sketch plan. Consideration to approve an application by Joe Edge for a sketch plan for the cottages at Ebenezer consisting of 108 lots located off of Ebenezer Road, map number 445, parcel number 26 in the 4th district. Number 24, the planning board recommends approving an application by N. Philip Kiefer to rezone 1 acre located at 1204 Mill Pond Road from R1 to AR1 to combine with an adjacent property, map number 446, parcel number 7 in the 5th district. Number 25, consideration to approve the second reading of an application by N. Phil Kiefer to rezone 1 acre located at 1204 Mill Pond Road from R1 to AR1 to combine with an adjacent property, map number 446, parcel number 7 in the 5th district.
One question.
Yes, sir.
The one with the cottages, Joe Edge, what was the conflict there?
It was for Mr. Loper.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Sorry. I didn't make that connection.
So we need a motion
We need a
to,
motion to table this to October the 2nd.
yes, sir, to table items number 17 through 25.
Entertain a motion.
I make a motion to table items 17 through 25 till our October 2nd meeting. Second.
Got a motion and second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. It passed. Anybody have anything else?
Just a reminder, Director Morgan, that South Effingham High School is playing Effingham County High School in Josh Reddick Stadium right now. Started at 6 o'clock. This is a girls softball varsity game.
Okay. Anybody else have any other announcements? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you all for coming.